All right, graphics programming, well, game development in x86 assembly. And we ran into a little bit of an issue last time, which is not an issue now because I cut down the amount of bytes we had. But that was basically that, if we have a bit of extra added in and we try and build, it'll say, oh, that's a different error. We'll just do this. It'll tell us eventually that we're using too many bytes, and if I just keep adding to the number of bytes, you'll see, okay, there we go, 11. So we went over by 11 bytes. This amount of code is not enough to finish Pong, so we'll have to be using sector 2. Thankfully, I already built a assembly sector 2. I had to do some experimentation, so we're going to get rid of everything but this little tag here. Okay, and then we're going to go back to example 1. Okay, so to do this, you'll want an example ASM and an example S2 ASM. Obviously, I'm going to be putting this up on the GitHub, so you will be able to see all the code there. But to jump to sector 2, what we need to do is grab some code, and it's right here. I have it over here, so we'll just copy that over, and we'll adjust it a little bit so that it's, proper. But I think probably before that, we'll want to move over all this code into sector 2, everything but that ORG. So you can see an ORG here, and you can see we don't have another ORG because we're telling it where it starts, where the origination of the files starts. We've copied all the code over. This does not have to be done here. Okay, this no longer has to be done here. We still need to set up that stuff, but this is essentially what it'll go down to. Just timer and keyboard. And then we also do not need these two things. It's just ends like that. Okay, so now, because we've done that, we can start trimming this down as well. We can trim it down so we're at this. We still need this stuff. We need to go to here. We do not need this. What we need instead is to copy that code over, and just copy that real quick. And I'm going to just rename it because this is from the language. I don't need to use any of my file language terms in here. We can just do prep sector 2 and jump sector 2 as our calls. So call jump to sector 2. Okay, good. Now we can get rid of all this. And I believe everything but the last couple lines, basically. And let's look at our code. Okay, origin, we do all the clearing, set it to, okay, video mode, jump. Okay, so now a few things to say before we test this. First of all, number of sectors is kind of important, so just keep in mind that, like, when we have 6 set here, that means that is 6 sectors are going to be run as code. So what that means is this next file, which starts on a different address, 7E instead of 7C, okay, and we can do the math. 7E, okay, with 2 zeros, is 1, E is 1 greater than F or not C, C, D, E, it's 2. It's 2 greater than C, which is where we're coming from. And you can see that here, the C. So we're essentially, I think it's 512 bytes into the future. And this ends on something that fills up 512 bytes with zeros if there is none left. So there's sectors, 512 byte sections, basically. 6 is all we'll need for Pong, but if you need a larger game, you may want to do more. So, Okay, now we can go ahead and test this. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. To be perfectly honest, I may have done something wrong, but we're going to be using, instead of build single, I'm going to use this build, and then, yeah, so we'll see if that goes. Okay, good, it does. So now we're at sector 2. Now we can start adding code and not have to worry about running out of memory. So first couple things that I think we'll do is we probably want the paddles to move independently of each other. So what we'll probably end up doing is we need another W down, S down kind of thing. So now this is maybe not the most ideal way to do it. In my language, I have it so that the keyboard driver has a 0 space for every single, like a byte space for telling whether a key is down or up. But that's a lot more complicated, and I don't want to overwhelm people. I want them to understand, oh, W down is when W is down. So yeah, so, and we'll just do, I guess, I and K for the other. I down, 0, K down, dB 0. And it's essentially the same exact code. Timer event, check, skip. So as you can see, this will change, but not yet. What we really want is the key down event. We need to add more presses. Unfortunately, that's just kind of how it's gonna be. So since I don't have a more complex system, we'll get to more complex systems when we do game development that is beyond Pong. But right now I want to give people the absolute easiest, so we'll call this I press and K press, absolute easiest way of learning. And then we're just going to do the same exact style, and this will be I and K. And one issue that I may run into is keyval, and that is that they're both using keyval. They'll override each other. Let's not do that. Let's do player to keys, key value, I guess, as the player too. Now, I won't change the other key value. I don't want to go through and run through and change all those labels, but for this one, we'll do this. So now what's interesting is key down, it moves it into key val kind of regardless of what you do. So if they're together, I'm kind of wondering how it handles that. I'm really hoping I won't have to reprogram or anything like that. Okay, that's right. This needs to be I and this needs to be K. Let's just get these out of the way so I don't forget to do it. Okay. So I'm going to have to decide, okay, yeah, it's going to run on every keyboard event. I'm pretty sure there should be independent even if it's held. Yeah, there would be. So never mind. We actually don't need, yeah, I and K will be the storage thing. So actually, never mind. Scratch that. We will not need a player 2 because the I and K will be the player 2. Now that theoretically should work. The only issue is key up gets complicated because, well, and here's the deal. Now that we're in sector 2, we don't have to conserve space. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to duplicate the key up event as key down, and instead of setting it to this, I'm going to set it to 0 because yeah, it's a key up event, and then we'll test it and make sure this still works. And as you can see, it still works, and we can do that. Okay, great. Because we have suddenly more space to do programming, which is necessary, especially, I mean, programming assembly is not that bad in terms of space, bytes and whatnot, but it is definitely in terms of file size and lines of code, it is a doozy. So, oh, also, by the way, if you're confused about where we are in the programming and you didn't see the last episode, It's because the algorithm doesn't like it. It only got like 40 views, which is way below average. So I must have done something that the algorithm didn't like. It'll be in the link below in the description. So my apologies for that. Okay, so now that that's all working, what we want to do in the timer event is two different sort of checks for the keys, because we need to be able to draw the other one independently. So yes, we have a left paddle Y, but now we need a right paddle Y. And the thing is okay, 60. Let's find where left paddle Y, left paddle Y. Okay. Right Y paddle. Actually, that's how it's supposed to be. And these are down, these are up. Okay, sure. There is a move box. So this is move box down, move box up. We need another thing here, which is basically like to get the other ones. So this will be check right, I guess. Move box up. Yeah, we'll be checking it regardless, but we don't want to skip. So we'll just call this skip next, I guess. And then this will be just, yeah. Skip next, check right. So this is gonna be I, and this is gonna be K. Up, okay. And then instead of move box, we'll need to have a right and a left box. So move right. And then this will be, just replace all these, I think. Yep. And then this becomes I down, K down. And then it's move right box. Is it down? Yeah. Right box up. And that's skip, which I think is correct. I'm not sure if this works, but we'll check. It kind of works. It kind of works. So when S and W go, it still moves the other Y up and down, which is not supposed to do. And I'm trying to think of why. I think it's because how I'm setting the properties. Move EAX. Oh, right. So that's an X value. That's correct. Y. Right paddle. Left paddle, left paddle, right paddle, right paddle. S, move box down. So I go from S to check, to skip next, to check right, to skip, which is here. Is there any point where if that isn't equal, if it's equal, move box down. It looks good. So now I got to figure out what I did wrong. And let's run it again. Somehow I'm still using the left paddle to draw the right one, basically. So here's the left paddle Y. This X is 20, so it's on the right or the left side of it. Width and height are not going to be affected. 290, good. And this is right paddle Y. Move EAX. Is this a... Did I do something wrong when it comes to that? Okay, so let's go through the procedure. If W is down, which it goes up, move box up, that's working. We know that's working. Then it goes to skip next because that's the next line. It compares I down to I. If it's not equal, it goes to check. And if that's not equal, oh. If that's not equal, it goes to K, which goes to skip. So this should be working. Should be. So I've done something wrong in terms of the W press, etc. Ah, I see it. I press, K press. Oh, but it's still going together. It's still going together. That is very odd. Okay, so key val. If it's equal, it's not. If it's equal to W, jump to W press. It goes to W press. Jump to done. Key up. Well, then they're set by default, right? To 0. Oh, did I? Yeah. Okay. That for sure needs to be there. Okay. Still following. So something else is happening. Let's go to draw box. Draw start, SQY. Oh, I think I know what's happening. I'm setting SQY wrong. Yes. Move SQY. Oh, I need the Y. And EAX is what's moving. Yeah. EAX is what's moving into there. So, yep, that was it. And this is why assembly language is such a pain. Okay, there we go. All right. All right. Yep, they're moving independently. But there's some like kind of, oh, I see. It's like it gets stuck moving up or something. So there's some little bugs, but that's good enough for now. We've got them moving up and down. Yeah, moving up and down. All right. So we're going to need to do a lot of little boundary issues, like not letting them go below. Like for instance here, you can just make them go below and disappear. And then you have to hold a button to get them to come back up. But anyways, these issues will be fixed, I think, in the next video. But that's good enough for now. So I'm going to end the video here.